Folks, I think it's time to join forces. I think that maybe we all need to take a day off and sit down and spend some time with our family privately. Maybe meet with some people in the neighborhood, your community, on your day off. Because the trafficking of children, it has to stop. It has to stop now with our generation. We can't allow this to continue. Things are just going to get worse. It's destructive. It's cruel. I think it's the worst kind of evil. This and murder. Take a listen.
Babbel.com/Sean, spelled Babbel. Docs if you're watching on YouTube. Yes, muy buenos dias, everybody. So let me just cover a few. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Let me just cover a few of the things Kevin said then. I'd just like to start out to say that anyone in the world who's protecting, enabling, or participating in the harm of kids, we are going to expose. This is not a partisan thing. People who are at the top of politics are psychopaths. They may pretend to be fighting the deep state, but they're absolutely protecting the deep state. Trump told us he was going to release the Epstein files. He's going to halve the defense budget. He's just jacking it up to $1.5 trillion. No new wars. Peace president. He's just got in Venezuela. They're going to bomb Iran again. Greenland. So, Kevin touched on Greenland, and it's real, man. I'm watching news stories here. European countries are scrambling troops to Greenland right now because they think Trump might be about to make a move. It's absolutely insane. And Keir Starmer, he's just put us all on standby now for conscription, and he's raised the age of conscription to 65. So I am now eligible to be forced into the military. Keir Starmer right now I could get a letter saying, "You're going to Ukraine, to the meat grinder. Have a nice life." Average life expectancy. What is it? How many days? So yeah, they're all in on it, folks. Doesn't matter what party they are all in on it. They're protecting the banksters. They're protecting the BlackRocks of the world. They pretend to have our interests at heart, but once they get in, they do the complete opposite. Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell, I wish you well. Let me put you in a soft prison. Let me let you out early. What would Virginia thought about that? Anyone who could trust these people at this point? I don't know, folks. I ain't trusting any of them. But yes, Kevin, anything to add to that?
Well, you said it so well. Exactly right. And when you look at it, it's madness. But don't forget, Hitler in his early years also was accused of madness. But there's a method behind it all. And, one theory is that the system is totally out of control and it keeps breeding this. It doesn't matter what president is in, the military-industrial system controls over half the U.S. budget. So it needs wars. It needs all this conflict. But there's a big shift happening, okay? And war hysteria helps any ruler, whether it's in England or NATO or Russia or China, whatever. So in a way, they all need it, right, to keep the economy afloat and keep a few running the many because you keep people traumatized that way, as we all know. What gets me is how people learn these lessons time after time after time, and yet they keep lining up. Half of the voters vote for this guy, right? When they knew exactly the kind of person he is. So there's kind of you reach a point of crisis in the society, and there's this massive death wish. It's like a group psychosis going on. And decisions are made that are increasingly self-destructive. Barbara Tuchman, she's an American historian. She wrote some great books about this, including The Guns of August, about just before World War I, how all the empires were scrambling to go to war, and it didn't make any sense, right? It could be called off at any point. But you get to a point, and the higher you are in a system, the crazier you are, the more dissociated you are. And so the people have an obligation to take the power out of their hands and take it back to what these folks are doing in America with the new constitutional conventions. Devolve the power back into our communities, become the police, become the courts, become the legislators that pass the law, and say to these big corporate governments, no. So, you see a big development in this crazy direction, but you also see another development over here of the people. And now we need to unite across all these divisions. And I say that to people when they attack me, when I put up that posting on YouTube about the court decision, I got huge amount of hate emails from people defending Donny Boy, right? And I said, you're just shooting yourself in the head by going along with this for the reasons that you just laid out, Sean. So, I mean, now we got to talk about how we go about doing that. And I frankly am very optimistic because if you remember right before the American Revolution, about 30 years before, there was a thing in America called the Great Awakening. And it was this massive kind of grassroots evangelical revival going on. And some of the Methodists from England came over to help seed it, like George Whitefield and people like that, John Wesley. But the Americans had this idea, okay, we don't need the church. We don't need bishops. Christ is in us. And so they had all these massive assemblies where people became the church. They became the leadership. They didn't have any more ministers. They were the embodiment of the message. Those same people went on to shoot British soldiers at Lexington and Concord. As a matter of fact, over half the soldiers in the Continental Army were those members of these congregations, like in the English Civil War, the Puritans and the Presbyterians and that, who had a sense of their own spiritual power as congregations. They're the ones who led the fight against the king and decapitated and set up the brief republic in England. So I think if we don't have that inner awakening, that recognition that people can govern themselves in every sense, and that's why we wrote that book, which again, I really urge people to get, Governing Ourselves, a handbook on personal, political, spiritual sovereignty. It's kind of a how-to book on this next stage in our global struggle to save our humanity, you know, in the wake of this Neuralink technocratic agenda of turning us all into Borgs run by 3 or 4 oligarchs in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, Peter Thiel.
How to warm you up instantly with
Elon Musk, the PayPal mafia. They're all bringing in this digital control grid, AI run, and it is going to be the Hunger Games society, folks. So you know, we're talking. We've got over 1,000 now watching live across all the platforms, and we're talking with Kevin, and all of Kevin's links, books, everything are in the description box. But please support his important work. So this.
All right, guys, you can go check out the rest of the video if you want. I just wanted to let you know what is supposedly going on. Now, I've been wondering, I've been hoping for some sort of evidence to figure out if Trump was just taking over the criminal empire or not. And sure enough, it does appear that he has. So he's a rogue, illegitimate, illegal president. And he appears to be literally spiraling out of control. And I think it would be a really good idea if we all prayed for him. Just right now, said a quick prayer. Dear God, come before you with humble hearts, O Lord. Yes, you please touch the heart of President Trump. And allow somebody to arrest him, bring him before the courts. Lord, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, let me know what you guys think. And I'll be covering this in depth because I just have such a bad feeling about this. I keep hearing World War III. So let's try to avoid it. And take care of yourself. Bye-bye.